Hi, my name is Cheramidas, and I will be going over the SQL box for the Hack the Box video presentation. As you can see, we already got our machine spawned in, and we already have our IP address. Now, I would go through the questions and show you the questions on the screen, but since I already completed the box, I don't want to give those answers away just yet. Don't worry, I'll still be going over all the questions and still talking about them and our mindset on them. So the first question it asks is, during our scan, which port do we find serving MySQL? So reading that, I can already think that we're going to have to scan the IP addresses, look for any open ports specifically that are serving MySQL. So what we can do is we can go ahead and open up a terminal. Bring this over here. And we can type in the command nmap -sc -sv and then our IP address. Okay? And we can go ahead and click enter. So now basically all we're doing is we're just scanning to see if there are any open ports. What the flag SCV does is that it's a script search. Just keep in mind this is a bit intrusive on the network. Now, we also have the flag SV, which basically just gets the version number of any software or application running on that port. So while we get that running and get that scan, let's go ahead and make sure that we have all our tools installed. Since we'll be working with MySQL, we can see and make sure that we have the updated version and have SQL on our local computer. So what we can do is create a new terminal, and we're going to type in the command sudo apt update combined with sudo apt install MySQL. Okay, and we can go ahead and click enter. After the password, and we'll let that run. Okay, perfect. Looks like it finished. So if we can scroll up, let's see, I just saw it. Should be, yeah, right here, summary. So it looks like we installed 4 new packages and 333 were not upgraded. I forgot to mention, when we were typing the command for the sudo update and the sudo install with the MySQL followed by the star sign, basically all that star sign does is that it just makes sure that we're getting all the contents of MySQL for Kali Linux. Since we already have MySQL installed, let's go ahead and look into some commands to see, what we might be working with or if anything stands out to us. So what we can type is MySQL help. Oop, it looks like it's actually MySQL --help. Okay, yeah, it looks like there's a lot of commands, so let's go all the way to the top. Okay, and here we go. So here are some arguments that we have. Okay, we have the help. And let's kind of just look through this. We have batching. And then we have about debugging. Oh, here's one, -h. So what this flag does is it connects to a host. So I'm pretty sure we might have to use this. This might be an important command, as we could probably do -h and then our IP address. We can look into that further when we actually run the command. Okay, skip line numbers, port numbers, SSL, Okay, here's another flag, -u. So this allows us to log in with a username if we're not the current user. I could think that would be pretty helpful, especially with getting into the SQL database. So we can look further into that. Maybe try that out. And just some settings. Okay, perfect. So it looks like the scan has completed. So we can see that port 3306 is open with MySQL as a service running on it. Looks like the version that we're running is 5.5.5 MariaDB. And then just some more information. So with that, we can answer the question, during our scan, which port did we find serving MySQL? It's going to be port 3306. Then the next question asks, what community developed MySQL version is the target running? So looking at that, it looks like the version that we're running is MariaDB. Then the third question asks, when using the MySQL command line client, which switch do we need to use in order to specify a login username? And if we look back at here, we said that the flag that we'll use, or the switch that we'll use for username, is -u. Okay, so we can ask that question. Now, the next question asks, which username allows us to log into this MariaDB instance without providing a password? So, we don't know a username, and in any typical situation, we could probably just, brute force it, try the most common usernames we could think of. But in this case, we can do some reconnaissance. So we can go ahead and open up a tab, and we can type in, what is the default login for MySQL? And it gives us that the default MySQL username is root, which typically has no password in older versions or local unconfigured installations. So this could be the case where that whoever set up the database did not put a password for it. So then what we can do then is we can try it out. We can type in MySQL with the switch U, then root, then the host, and then which is just going to be our IP address. And let's see if that works. And so we'll wait for that output. Okay, it looks like we got an error when running that. It looks like we got error 2026 TLS/SSL error. SSL is required, but the server does not support it. So that error seems pretty straightforward, basically just saying that when we're trying to get into this MySQL database, that SSL is required, but the server hosting the database does not support it. So what we can do is we can scroll back up and let's go look at our commands. I do remember seeing something about SSL. Okay, SSL, here, name right here. Since we can, here's one. Default to on, use --skip SSL to disable it. That's perfect because it looks like we're gonna have to disable SSL to fully log in. So let's go ahead and type that out again. So MySQL -u root -h 10 129 95 232 --skip SSL. Alright, and let's see if we can log in now. Oh, perfect. Looks like we were able to get in. So it looks like just some information popped up. Welcome to the MariaDB monitor. Commands in with semicolon or /G. Looks like the server version, and type help or /H for help. Type /C to clear the current input state. Okay, so that's a little bit of useful knowledge. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's type in help, then the semicolon to see what we get. Okay, looks like we got a list of commands. So we got, scroll up. So it says list of all client commands. Note that all text commands must be first online and end with semicolon. So that's the second time we're seeing that. So I'm thinking that semicolon is pretty important to end our commands with. Okay, looks like some more information. Okay, I'm not really seeing anything to navigate, the database or, seeing, any more information. So let's go back to our browser and let's look up MySQL cheat sheet to see if we can get any more information. Okay, it looks like we got some links. But let's go ahead and go to this one, the mysqltutorial.org. Okay, I do see, we already see the MySQL command line client commands, which we used, which is perfect. Here's that -u. Okay. Oh, here's something. Working with databases. Okay, looks like some commands about use a database or change the current database to another database that you are working with. Okay, dropping databases, showing all databases available in the current MySQL database server, and then working with tables, show all the tables in a current database. Okay, so if you're not too familiar with SQL, basically it's just a query command language that allows for one query to be executed at a time. So in this case, we want to see all the databases that are on here. So let's do show databases. And with the semicolon. Perfect. So it looks like we got some information. So we can see that we have 4 databases. We have HTTP, Information Schema, MySQL, and Performance Schema. So looking at these all seem to be default databases that are created in MySQL. And it looks like HTTP is the outlier in this database, which might have been a custom database created. So now we want to get into this database. To get into this database, we'll use the command use, and then the database name, which will be HTTP. Semicolon. Perfect. It looks like we were able to change the database. So it looks like we're now in the database. Now remember, with databases, there's the database, then the table, and then in that table has all information or any content in it. So if we want to see what tables are in there, we can scroll and go back here and look, the command show tables. So go ahead and type in show tables and see what we get. Okay, it looks like we have 2 tables in here. Looks like we have the table config and users. Now, if we really want to look into this table, we can use the command select the star symbol, which will just be for all the content. So it will display all the content, all the rows and columns from, and which table we want from. In this instance, it's going to be config. Semicolon. Perfect. We were able to get all the information from that table. And look, it looks like we were able to find the flag as it's in the table right here. Okay, so since we're able to find the root flag, let's go ahead and finish answering some of those questions. Question 4, it says, which username allows us to log into this MariaDB instance without providing a password? Which we found out was root. Okay? In SQL, which symbol can we use to specify within the query that we want to display everything inside a table? And if you remember, we used the star symbol to show all information that is inside a table. In SQL, what symbol do we need to end each query with? That's going to be the semicolon. Now, question 7. There are 3 databases in this MySQL instance that are common across all MySQL instances. What is the name of the 4th that's unique to this host? And we said the unique database, which HTB. And then it's just asked to submit the root flag, which is just going to be this right here. I hope this tutorial was very useful and you're able to navigate and get the root flag. Hope you guys have a great day.